Right now, officers in our area are practicing how to respond in an active shooter situation, what they're learning to keep your kids safe.
And we're getting a closer look at the F-35 fighter jet that could be stationed at Truax Field. We'll hear an Air Force pilot's description about how it compares to the F-16.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Today, law enforcement agencies in southern Wisconsin are training for the worst-case scenario.
The possibility of an active shooter at a middle school. What to do, how to stop it. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter got a behind-the-scenes look at that training, and he joins us now with what life-saving skills officers are learning. Adam?
Well, Eric and Charlotte, the sergeant that I talked to today says this is the question that's on the top of every police chief and sheriff's mind around the country. And he says, while no amount of training can prevent something like this from happening fully, the messages it's teaching could help save a life. Before students can return to Marshall Middle School in Janesville,
we can simulate significant bleeds.
Police are using it for something else.
We are focusing on rapid response or active shooter training.
Today's training all about being prepared if a mass shooting were to take place in this building. And while police want to keep their tactics as secret as possible,
Hardened plastic.
They were able to give us an inside look at some of that training earlier today.
We use role players a lot, and then we also use simulated gunfire within the building to kind of amp up or give the officers some type of auditory stimulus.
Sergeant Josh Norm of the Janesville Police Department says this training could not have come at a better time. As for the last 2 weeks, he, his department, and the rest of the nation have watched as mass shootings in California, Texas, and Ohio have killed dozens of innocent people.
For me personally, it's a reminder to get back to focusing on our training, reinforcing our principles.
Today, the team worked to simulate clearing classrooms.
Our officer is going to provide me cover because I'm going to be focusing on the leg.
Providing immediate aid to wounded victims and communicating with one another as if this school were under threat.
We're trying to make this almost muscle memory for the officers.
Sergeant Norm says, while truly preventing these shootings will take societal change,
Size is very comparable.
He and his department want people to know they're doing everything they can.
You know, it's just the unfortunate reality that we all live in today's society. It's happening all over the country. Fortunately, we've been lucky to this point that it hasn't happened, but we have to prepare for when it does happen here.
And it's not just Janesville police that are taking part in this training either. Beloit, Town of Beloit, Milton, the Rock County Sheriff's Office, and others are all participating both today and tomorrow. Sergeant Norm says for these guys, it's just about mentally as taxing as learning physically what you need to be doing while responding in a situation like this.
Adam Duxter on our Rock County Bureau at the Janesville Gazette. Adam, thank you. It is day 2 for the trial of the Indiana truck driver facing 46 charges, 10 of them felonies for driving under the influence of prescription drugs, crashing into a school bus filled with children. That bus was pulled over on the interstate in Columbia County with some mechanical issues when that crash happened back in May of 2018. Today in court, we heard testimony from the state trooper who conducted a field sobriety test on Murphy. He read a statement Murphy wrote in the hospital describing his version of events.
Suddenly noticed a bus on the shoulder, which the truck was trying to swerve right towards, trying to veer right towards the bus. When I tried to correct it, the corner of the passenger truck and passenger side of trailer had connected, I believe it says. As soon as it happened, I pulled over on shoulder and reversed back towards the scene. I walked up to check on everybody and immediately was confronted by a man who wanted to fight me. So I went back to my truck to wait for police.
Now, on that written statement, Murphy marked that there was nothing wrong with his truck, nothing blocking his view at the time of the crash. The trooper also testified Murphy said nothing to him about being top-heavy or wind being a factor. Those were things Murphy's attorney alluded to in his opening statement yesterday. A teenager is charged for being a passenger in a vehicle operated without the owner's consent and 6 counts of felony bail jumping. 17-year-old Isaiah Ali was one of 3 teens arrested after a foot chase near Elver Park Sunday. after police say they identified the teens on surveillance video stealing from Easttown Mall back on July 31st. Ali has an extensive adult court criminal record with 6 open cases, including burglary and armed robberies.
In Rock County, 26 people were without gas today after a bulldozer hit a gas line in Janesville. This happened near the intersection of Wuthering Heights and Ruger Avenue around 11:30 today. No one was evacuated, but gas was temporarily shut off while crews fixed the issue. To weather now, chances of showers tonight and throughout the week. Let's check your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti.
Well, we've had some off and on showers and thunderstorms today over parts of southern Wisconsin. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. You can see how thunderstorms have been developing across parts of southeastern Minnesota into extreme northeastern portions of Iowa, that area there. We're watching some severe weather there, marginal risk of severe thunderstorms according to the Storm Prediction Center north and west of Madison for tonight. But there are a couple of thunderstorm cells, one near the Twin Cities, another in northeastern Iowa, actually has a tornado warning on it. But these storms will probably weaken before they reach us later on tonight. Most of the thunderstorms have moved south of the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. Current temperatures are in the mid-70s to the lower 80s. Dew point temperatures are still pretty high, mid-60s to the lower 70s, so it is pretty humid out there. Expect a chance of showers for tonight, maybe some evening thunderstorms. Tomorrow there'll also be another chance of a shower or thunderstorm, but it will be cooler with a high temperature of 70. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
At the state capitol, Republican lawmakers are circulating a package of bills designed to improve access to mental health services. One of the representatives introducing the bill, Paul Tittle, said the proposals are not a reaction to recent mass shootings. The bills would make matching grant money available for mental health centers and nonprofits across the state. Today, a member of Painting Pathways Clubhouse in Manitowoc shared the importance of supporting mental health programs.
Painting Pathways has been very important to me, and it has helped me a great deal. I've gone from the depths of thinking of suicide to the heights of thinking that I was like Superman, or it's a very long range. And I know everyone goes through ups and downs, but the difference for us with mental illness is that it affects the way we can contribute or our functionality.
The proposed bills would also provide a tax deduction for psychiatrists who practice in an underserved area and update standards and practices for psychologists. Those haven't been changed since 1994.
The Wisconsin Elections Commission has voted unanimously to fund security upgrades for local clerks' computers. The commission staff has warned that lots of clerks use outdated computer systems or are not installing security patches. The Cap Times reports commissioners have agreed to direct existing federal dollars to install software that'll track security levels on those computers. They'll also create a $30,000 emergency loan program for 25 devices to loan out to clerks who are not able to comply with security protocols.
A proposal aimed at helping students with dyslexia faces just a few more hurdles before passing the state legislature. The bill heard in a Senate committee today would require the state to create a guidebook on dyslexia. The guide would have information about screening processes for identifying dyslexia and resources available for parents and teachers. The proposal faces opposition from some Democrats and the Wisconsin State Reading Association, leading to what some have called the reading wars. But local dyslexia advocates say they believe the bill will help save families some heartache.
I've seen family after family come in. Everyone's upset because this child is trying hard and they're still sort of being blamed, if you will, for not somehow progressing.
The state assembly passed the bill in June, with most Democrats voting against it, citing concerns about teachers' curriculums. The Reading Association says it would support the bill with a few changes, including making the guidebook about all reading conditions, not just dyslexia, and not including a definition of dyslexia in that guidebook. F-35 jets are in Wisconsin for the annual Northern Lightning Counterland exercise at Vogt Field.
That's a realistic training with units from the Army, Air Force, Marine Corps, and Navy from all across the country. And our Amanda Quintana shows us what makes the F-35 so special ahead of its possible arrival here in Madison.
This exercise is giving us our first up-close look at the F-35 jets. Next February, we expect to hear a final decision on if they'll be coming to Truax Field.
I mean, it's like the brand new airplane. It's got, every nation and kind of, the free world is buying into this thing, and it's awesome to be a part of that.
Pilot Zachary Clements has been flying an F-35 since late 2017, the newest fighter jet the Air Force has, and they could be coming to Truax Field. He used to fly the F-16, the aircraft being phased out at Truax.
It's not even a comparison, really.
Clements says the stealth is really what sets it apart.
In the F-16, everybody saw me from, hundreds of miles away probably. And so they could shoot me really whenever they wanted to. And in the F-35, they cannot see you. And if they can see you, they can't really shoot at you until it's way late. And by that time, you have already taken multiple shots against them.
The F-35 is simply more advanced. He called it a flying supercomputer.
The F-16 just built 30 years ago. It doesn't really matter how much you add to it. It can never really be kind of what the F-35 is.
The Northern Lightning exercise director comparing the upgrade to an old iPhone. You can update it, but it won't be the iPhone 10. This week, making sure each generation can communicate.
We specialize in having F-22, F-35, F-16, so kind of that 5th and 4th gen, talking together with the people on the ground and trying to make all those systems work.
Overall, the F-35 could be louder for Madison residents, but they're making things easier for pilots.
We are still in the public comment period, so you can give your opinion, and you can go to a meeting on September 12th at Alliant Energy Center. For News 3 Now, I'm Amanda Quintana.
A draft environment impact statement recently released says if the F-35s come to Truax, there would be a significant increase in noise to the city's north side, but no issues with air quality or safety.
Next at 6, 2 big-name brewers are making contributions to a Milwaukee redevelopment project. And more cases of severe lung damage linked to vaping are popping up in the Midwest, what parents should look out for.
And more local news ahead. A Madison-based wedding photographer had thousands of dollars in camera gear stolen, but her only concern is getting her clients' photos back. We'll share her call for help tonight on News 3 Now at 10. Minnesota health officials are reporting more cases of young people experiencing severe lung damage linked to vaping. They're investigating 4 cases right now and say they are similar to recent cases reported here in Wisconsin and also in Illinois. Minnesota's health department is asking healthcare providers and parents to be on the lookout for vaping as a cause of unexplained breathing problems. New at 6, Wisconsin is now part of a multi-state lawsuit challenging the Trump administration's decision to ease restrictions on coal-fired power plants. Attorney General Josh Cald announced that move today. Back in June, the Environmental Protection Agency eliminated its Clean Power Plan and replaced it with a rule that gives states more leeway in deciding upgrades to coal-fired plants. The lawsuit alleges that new rule violates the Clean Air Act. Cald said in a news release that it only prolongs the nation's reliance on coal.
Milwaukee is working to redevelop the former Grand Avenue Mall with the help of some well-known investors. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel reports Ryan Braun and Kristen Yelich are making significant investments in the Avenue, the new name for the space. It'll feature a food hall with 20 local food vendors and offices. Yelich told the paper he has quickly grown to love Milwaukee, wants to help show others its greatness and make its neighborhoods as successful as possible. Braun called Milwaukee his second home and said the investment is an opportunity to play a role in transforming part of the city. The Milton School District is celebrating the high school pool's reopening just in time for girls' swim season. The pool has been closed for renovation work since March 1st. The district tweeted these photos of the first official practice of the season today. Milton residents approved building a brand new pool as part of a $60 million referendum this spring. That's slated to open fall of 2021. Next at 6, keep the umbrella handy this week.
We've got shower chances on and off tonight through Sunday. Gary will share when we might get a break. That's next in your First Alert forecast.
Well, we've been watching some showers and thunderstorms over parts of southern Wisconsin, eastern Iowa, and southeastern Minnesota. There were a couple of tornado warnings out for storms that were in the Twin Cities area and also just crossing over to northern Iowa. But those storms have weakened and all warnings have been canceled early. So we're watching this line of storms that moves to the east-southeast. If we see any severe weather, it's most likely going to be along that line. But by the time it reaches southern Wisconsin, I think the atmosphere will be cooling down a little bit as we get beyond the hours of the hour of sunset, and you can see the showers and storms from earlier have now moved into northern Illinois. So we're kind of in an in-between pattern right now, and here's where most of the thunderstorm activity is toward north and west. Storm Prediction Center does have a marginal risk of severe storms north and west of Madison for tonight. Gusty winds, hail, the main threats. Can't rule out an isolated tornado, but that would be more likely over parts of eastern Minnesota. while the atmosphere is still unstable enough to pop up some stronger thunderstorms. Rainfall amounts over the next couple of days will be generally pretty light, around a tenth of an inch to about a quarter of an inch, but some heavier amounts in excess of half inch to an inch are possible and heavier thunderstorms. But then we see more showers and thunderstorms in the Friday, Saturday time period that could bring in an additional quarter to a half inch of rain generally across southern Wisconsin. There might be much heavier amounts where severe weather is more likely down to the south across parts of Iowa and Illinois. But then after that, it looks like we'll probably see a break in the rain for much of next week. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville starting to show those towering cumulus clouds to the north and west. The live view from the WISC Skycam showing partly sunny skies, and the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison looking to the southeast showing some thunderheads in the distance there. Those are the showers and storms that move through southeastern Wisconsin. High today 80, the low temperature 66, very close to the averages of 80 and 60, and right now we're at 77 degrees. Humidity is still pretty high with a dew point temperature of 66. Temperatures are generally in the 70s across the state, a few places around 80. Notice the cooler weather to the north and west. This will be moving in for tomorrow. High temperatures tomorrow will be only around 70 degrees. So the forecast for tonight, look for cloudy skies, showers, perhaps an evening thunderstorm, some patchy fog overnight, low temperature at 62. Tomorrow, a cooler day with a high of 70. There will be a chance for a shower or thunderstorm, mainly in the afternoon hours. On Future Track, you can see the shower and thunderstorm chances moving out and then just a few scattered showers overnight. Low temperatures, lower 60s. Plenty of clouds for tomorrow, high temperatures around 70, and can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon. We'll clear out for tomorrow night with low temperatures in the upper 50s. Thursday should be mainly dry. These showers and storms more likely to reach us at night. High temperatures mid to upper 70s, but again, rainfall amounts will be spotty. Some areas could pick up some heavy amounts. Most areas will pick up just a little bit of rain, but the 7 to 10 day forecast calls for warmer weather to arrive and stick around for much of next week.
Aaron Rodgers talks about the new helmet he'll be wearing this year, while the Badgers give a nod to the helmets of yesteryear. Old school, new school. Sports is next. The Wisconsin football team hosts Northwestern September 28th, and when they do, they'll be wearing a throwback uniform with some modern accessories. The athletic department rolled out the unis today.
Rock 'em, sock of excitement, leather grinding into leather, the turf flying from pounding cleats. There's action at Camp Randall 5 Saturdays every month.
And the Badgers have done it. They battled to the wire before emerging with the championship. And the Badger bench and crowd has come alive at Camp Randall.
Wisconsin is ready to break away.
I kind of like them, and I don't have a skin in the game. I went to Marquette, so don't roll your eyes at me. This time last year, the Wisconsin offensive line was set. 5 starters, all on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Case closed for the most part. This season, the case is very open. The new players have experience because a lot of guys got into games last year. But this season, offensive coordinator and O-line coach Joe Rudolph's looking for the right mix to use as his base.
And I just think there's great competition, you know, and I wish I could say it was clear cut, like someone's really separated themselves, but it hasn't happened yet. It's just part of camp. You get to kind of see them in a more pressured moment and see how they execute, how they perform, where they're at now and where they could be, you know, 10 days from now.
The Wisconsin defense has a few personalities on the team. Now, there's been no official polling, but senior linebacker Chris Orr leads the way. There's some chatter, little trash talk, and some joke cracking at practice. Now, the rule is, as long as you produce when the ball is snapped, go ahead and be you.
If performance is affected by it, then it's a problem. If it's not, you let it go. And I like it. You know, guys communicating, talking, challenging each other. Well, that forces you to show up. The day you don't show up, everybody feels it. So I put a lot of pressure on them to just be the same guy. If you're going to have that strong personality, have that strong personality every day, and it better be genuine, it better be confident.
The NFL is rolling out a new helmet for the upcoming season. Aaron Rodgers is a fan. He's invested in the WISC company and even bought some for a few high schools in his home state of California. Raiders receiver Antonio Brown threatened to quit if he couldn't wear his old one because he says the new ones obstruct his vision. Brown returned to training camp today and is working with the league to see what he can actually wear. Rodgers says he likes the new product, calling the fit spectacular.
There's a connection to a helmet for sure. I love my helmet, every one that I've worn. I don't know that I would want to retire if I couldn't wear my helmet. I mean, I obviously didn't because I'm here today, but I'm sure he can find one eventually that he really likes.
Well, we're working with the NFL in regards to the helmet, and I'll make sure I put on the right equipment-approved helmet, and I'll be ready to go shortly.
Keep your eyes on the action. Yankees outfielder Cameron Maben loses one to left. Watch the kid above the State Farm sign off the deflection. Keeps his eye on the ball. I think the Yankees could probably sign him because they've had 24 players on the injured list this season. Good catch, get the high five, get on the internet and this show. Brewers and Twins interleague action tonight. Miller Park, big game, big 2-game series for both teams.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Final check of the forecast with Gary.
Watching a few showers and thunderstorms out there. They've kind of lulled, at least across southern Wisconsin. You can see most of them moved into northern Illinois. Still a couple around Monroe, and it looks like a little cell trying to pop up around Lone Rock. But other than that, most of southern Wisconsin right now are precipitation-free. Temperatures are in the mid to upper 70s. A couple of places still close to 80. Notice Waukesha's cooled down to 68 as rain has moved through there. But the dew point temperatures are still pretty high, upper 60s to the lower 70s. Highs only around 70 for tomorrow with a shower or thunderstorm chance. Another chance of rain Friday and Saturday. But then the temperatures go up for next week. Highs low to mid 80s and less humidity.
All right, Gary, thank you. Thanks for joining us tonight for News 3 Now at 6.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.